Hello everyone, my name is Annual and today we're going to be talking about Lady of the Scales, or Light Mercedes, or please do not call her Lots because I don't like it. But before we get started, we're going to talk a little bit about the free rank collab coming to Epic 7. I'm very glad to say that I really enjoyed the series when I watched it, and I'm very happy to say I'm glad this is coming to Epic 7. All the animations in this video were pretty well done and pretty close to the anime. And for anyone who is wondering if you should watch Free Run before it comes out, I do highly recommend it. It's going to be a very nice watch. It does start off slightly slow, and it's on the slow burn side for the start, but I do think it is definitely much more better written than Soul Loving, for instance. It'll be a good watch. I can't wait for this collab to come out. I'll be sure to cover each one of the units when they come out, and yeah, I'm so glad that we have this. But without further ado, let's continue on to the main point in the video, Mercedes. So Mercedes is a very strong unit. She has a very loaded kit. For instance, when you are CR pushing, she copies like 50% of that CR push and pushes herself. She has a nice team-wide cleanse, and she basically turns the front row unit into an Aureus. And as long as that front row Aureus is still alive with the Aureus attached to them from Mercedes, then she gives the whole team except for the front row 2k fixed damage every hit, which is very strong. I don't know if you understand how strong 70% Aureus is, but it practically means you do absolutely no damage into anyone but the frontline unit, because all of it gets redirected, and it is possible to kill the outside targets as long as they're not super tanky, but it will take you multiple turns due to all the redirected damage. Oh wait, I have this here. Here we go. So yeah, units like Spirit Isoline, Unphoto Summer Photogenic, or Bystander Hwayoung can easily clean her up, and it could be a issue for you, so just be aware of those things. But we'll go over this list in a second. I'll just keep yapping a little bit about her. I think the thing that makes her extremely strong, and basically in the S tier, is just simply that Aureus factor, as well as the 2k fixed damage. So it makes her incredibly hard to deal with if you're not taking counter picks into the front row unit, because they will survive for way too long, specifically over Miki and BBK. For the other ones, they will die a little bit sooner, but it does incredible things for them, especially like cleaving, right? You can take things like Straze or Judge Kisei, who have immortality. So basically, to secure your cleave, now you have a unit that's sitting under invincibility that can't take damage but is holding Aureus. So the rest of the cleave team can't get damage due to this, which makes it an incredibly power anchor for the cleave team to take due to Mercedes. And then you have some other things like Arbitrary Villager. You can force him to die, so due to the Aureus, so you can revive. I don't know if they fixed the bug yet, where if you die due to the damage here, if he will revive. It was not working beforehand. I don't know if it's fixed. If it's not that good, but otherwise pretty nice. And she's just very strong, and she's pretty usable in most, if not all, situations. The only like bad part once again is, like, for instance, just ignore damage share units, and I guess like high effectiveness units, because they can strip your front line. And I think last of was like Veronica, but we'll go over the list. So basically what we have here is all the combo units you can use, and pretty much anyone who has immortality already on them or in their kits are good, because that means they can stack up immortality with Mercedes, which will keep them alive, which means your frontliner stays alive. And if your frontliner stays alive, you maintain your 70% Aureus. That is pretty much the thinking between all these units here. They're all immortalities, but out of all of these, Melissa and Kayron are the weaker ones, so unless you have a special tech prepared, I don't recommend taking them in like RTA or so. But for these first four with the immortality units, very good picks. As for Yoha, she's just a generally very good pick, because you could just build her high HP, it nukes her HP, you press S3, you kill, you reset, you keep going, right? Her EU is pretty good for her. Straze and Judge Kisei, like I mentioned before, very good picks, because you can sit under invincibility after you do your thing, and it keeps your cleave team alive. Carmen is kind of the same, because of the fact that the 70% Aureus will keep her alive, and then she also has a 25% damage reduction when she takes her turn, puts up invincibility, maintains damage reduction, and so on. And then lastly, like RB, but I don't know if the revive and attraction works properly. I actually saw Ruel got picked a lot. It's actually a decent pick because of the fact that she will self revive, and then and then she can put invincibility on top of herself, which means she can keep the RS active because she can put invincibility on herself. So it was actually a pretty nice tech. I'm not too sure if I'm a huge fan of it, but it does work. Outside of these dedicated frontliners, other units do work as long as you're fighting things that aren't too high damage. Like for instance, if you're not fighting too high damage, your regular RS Knights will suffice, but just be mindful they're going to die quicker. That's pretty much it. These frontliners don't get punished for losing their HP, which is the reason why they're still much better than the rest of the cast. But if you're not fighting any too high damage comps, the frontliners are fine. Boss Runka is okay as long as you're not fighting high damage units, but otherwise it pretty much defeats the purpose of taking Boss Runka, because Boss Runka is really good because you can't kill her. Picking Boss Runka with Mercedes means you're killing her faster. So it's only in the scenario where you're not fighting a high damage team, or maybe you're fighting a single target team, which you can like, you know, right? If you're fighting single target, then she's getting hit anyways, so it doesn't change it. But it's not the best thing. I don't generally recommend it if you're fighting AoE, but if you're fighting single target, it doesn't hurt. If you're not fighting high damage teams, it doesn't hurt either. These are the units to be aware of. Temperately being a high effectiveness debuffer that blocks your team means that Mercedes cannot effectively help cleanse them, as well as can't CR. Tinkerbell is just a really good debuffer, right? She's just beware. Luda, of course, she has to ignore ER seal. You get sealed. That's pretty much it for the most part. I don't think I really have to say much about why Luda is a beware. Dragon King Sarun is a very interesting tech. If the Sarun is very slow and you accidentally fair her, what's going to happen is the fixed damage, the Sharoon will land unbuffable, and due to the unbuffable, whoever is in the front row will not get immortality. And if so, the Sharoon has Cascade, due to the damage share that the front row will be taken due to that AoE Cascade proc from Sharoon's S3, it will straight up kill the frontline unit, meaning that unit will not even get the immortality, they will just straight up die. So Dragon King Sharon is definite beware of. She is generally a little bit hard to pick. You can't just pick her and get it to work. You need to either have like Renock the force procker, or you need to maybe run her, slow her to force Mercedes to press S1 and accidentally fair something. But if you are just trying to just clean up a Mercedes team in like PvE arena for instance, Renock plus Dragon King Sharon does work. Veronica is kind of obvious. If you're fighting all these disgusting immortality stackers, if we're fighting all these like immortality damage stackers here, like you just take Veronica and Veronica will just keep stripping off their mortality in multiple turns and then just keep CR pushing, which makes it very easy to just clean them up, which makes it's just pretty nice. Yoha, I talked about that synergy already, and Celine is a beware of between here and here, because they will just pick a super fast Celine on photogenic, and then Soulburn just kill something, and pretty much you're just one teammate down off of that, which makes this Celine team better. I just listed every single ignore damage here unit down here, so if you want to pick them to try to counter them, go ahead, but some of these are a little bit questionable, like Architect Leica and Giselle, you know. But if you want to try them out, go ahead. But these are every single ignore damage here unit in the game. And maybe every thief if you have a photogenic, so you can try that out. And last but not least, we have the team pairs. These are just some suggestions, but like it's kind of whatever. Due to the 70% RS, bystander is almost guaranteed to proc most of the time. BM haste, your front line dies, you go for relive, and Setsuka, due to the evasion, it helps keep your front line alive, or she keeps countering every time they hit the front line. That's pretty much it. But yeah, I think Mercedes is pretty good. These are like pretty much everything I pretty much ran into or tried out, and yeah. If you in terms of like stat lines, I don't think it really matters. You can pretty much run anything like speed, counter, anywhere from like 240 speed to 270 speed, or slightly bulkier, but I do think you want to run high ER and maybe some effectiveness if you can, but that's pretty much it. She is such a flexible unit, I can't really even give stat recommendations, because she's just, as long as you have her, you kind of are just at an advantage. She's just that strong where her build practically does not matter as much as you think it is, because she's just so strong. So yeah, if you're wondering why I didn't give the build earlier, that's pretty much the reason why. I'll give my own build on screen, but she's just so strong that I don't think it even matters. But anyways, that is pretty much it for me. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys next time.